God of Weapons. This is a roguelike with inventory management as a core feature. The game is developed and published by Arcmage Game Studios, which is located in Vietnam. The game offers 12 classes to choose from before starting a run in the game. This roguelike differs a bit from similar games like Hall of Torment and Vampire Survivors. Instead of a continuous run, God of Weapons is split into 20 levels per run, with a boss at the last stage, a bit like Risk of Rain. The objective in each level is always the same. You need to survive for about a minute per level. Between each level you get access to the store. You can also spend your levels you have gained, and lastly manage your inventory. When it comes to gameplay, it mimics Vampire Survivors and Halls of Torment very closely, with auto aim for the weapons and you controlling the movement and dodging. The levels change a bit in its layout, which is good. The unfortunate thing here is that the overall theme of the map never change. A completely new location would be refreshing from time to time. A variety in objective on each level would also be nice as well. It would justify having levels instead of a continuous run, in my opinion. Well, on a level you have a wide variety of enemies that can spawn. You also have elite enemies, and crates will spawn from time to time, which will grant you loot when you destroy them. When the 1 minute is up, you're sent back to the inventory screen, and here is where the second part of the game takes place. Think of the Resident Evil series, RE4 in particular. The inventory management in God of Weapons is practically the same. Like in practically all games, when you kill enemies here, you also level up. Each level will grant you 2 new inventory slots. You then get to choose where to expand your inventory from a few random locations. If you're not happy with the locations, you can spend some gold and reroll the locations. When you're done expanding the inventory, it's time to fill it. On the left side, you have the shop with 5 items that you can buy and place in your inventory. Each item will take up a different size of your inventory, and you'll have to puzzle it out to be able to maximize your potential. If you don't like any of the items that are presented, you can of course spend gold here as well to reroll all of them. You can of course save one or several if you just want to reroll a few of the options. I think I spent almost double the time equipping my character as I did playing the character. This is of course not a bad thing in my book, because maximizing and optimizing is super fun. There are so many weapons and armors and items you can equip to create a good build, which is really fun. You have your standard swords, bows, crossbows, spears, knives, flails, axes, maces, staffs, wands. You name it is probably in here. All weapons come in different shapes and sizes with unique perks. To complement the weapons there are also armor pieces and buff items. It's really impressive how many items there are in the game. The only downside is that it can be hard to find the right item in the shop well on a run. There is also an armory where you can unlock new weapons and items which will appear in future runs. There are a ton of items here as well. Like most other roguelites, there are missions to complete to earn more currencies. There are also several permanent buffs that you can spec into for future runs. All this is very standard stuff nowadays in roguelites. The builds you can do and the characters are of course a big part of roguelikes and roguelites. You can go the route of Hades and have a single character with different weapons. As you progress you gain the skills to improve your character. Or you do as Vampire Survivors and have a ton of characters with different starting specs and weapons. God of Weapons does the latter. As I mentioned, there are 12 classes that vary from your typical knight or wizard to juggernaut and king. All characters then comes with 3 aspects to choose from. As an example, the knight have of course knight, also have weapon master and eldritch knight. The hunter, another character, is split into hunter, sharpshooter and ranger. These aspects come with different stats and perks that will impact how you build your character and how you want to play the character. After choosing your aspect, you choose your starting weapon, you choose an starting item, and lastly the difficulty. There are 5 difficulties in the game. The first and the second one is really easy. The third one is a good challenge, and the fourth and fifth one is hard and will test you. So is the game any fun? Yeah, it's actually a lot of fun. I really enjoy the game. The music is nothing special, and the same goes for the sound effects. The graphics are very clean and it's easy to see what is happening on the screen. What I really like about the game is the equipment side of it. It's really cool how it works, and it works really well. You can't really create ultimate weapons or abilities like in Vampire Survivors or Holocure. God of Weapons is a bit more like Risk of Rain, where you collect a bunch of items until you become really powerful. There are of course unique weapons in the game, but they're super rare and nothing you really can rely on. If you build your character correctly, you can still become overpowered with just the regular weapons. One of my favorite builds right now is a speed knife build with life leech. It's super cool. The only thing I miss in the inventory aspect of the game is combining. It would be really cool and lead to a more fluid experience if you were able to combine two weapons of the same rarity into a better one. I would love that. The problem now is that you spend a lot of gold re-rolling the shop in hope of getting a better version of the weapon you already have. I really think it's unfortunate that the game is mission based. If it was endless on a timer or played in one large session, it would have been a lot better in my opinion. How to solve the inventory aspect? Maybe every 3rd or 5th level you gain access to the inventory, or maybe have a place on the map to interact with. I don't think the mission structure really fit the game. A game like Hades tells a story across different locations, so a mission structure fits better there. A game where you're always progressing, you're trying to get somewhere. Here is just 19 levels, a boss on the 20th floor. I think a run that is continuous would be more fun, like Halls of Torment. And to only have one boss per run, it's too few. It's too few. But overall, I truly enjoyed God of Weapons. I haven't played a roguelike with an inventory management system quite like this. It's easily a recommend for me.